My mother-in-law vanished on our wedding day, forcing us to postpone the ceremony. 3 months later, she pulled the same stunt. This time, she reappeared days later, seemingly stunned by our reaction. Never did I imagine I would become one of those people complaining about their mother-in-law. But here I am. My husband, Dave, is a classic mama's boy, but not in a bad way. He loves his mom deeply and would do anything for her. They share a close bond. However, since we started our relationship, he's had to set some boundaries. After a major argument, we decided that certain aspects of our lives would remain private and off-limits to his mom. He also had to reassess some habits that had been normal between them because he now had a partner in his life. Dave is her only son, so I understood how she must have felt. But that didn't change the fact that he was now an adult, ready to start a family. Unfortunately, as my relationship with Dave deepened, her attitude toward me worsened. It was often subtle, passive-aggressive remarks or actions. Sometimes, I wondered if she saw me as a rival, as though she believed I was stealing her place in his life. What I loved about Dave was that I never had to fight for his attention. He recognized when his mom was overstepping or trying to create drama, and he skillfully avoided it. At our engagement party, her discomfort was almost comical. She looked so out of place. We were supposed to get married 3 months ago, but my mother-in-law disappeared on the morning of our wedding day. Dave's dad mentioned they were together the night before, and nothing seemed unusual. She hadn't told him she planned to go anywhere. Everyone was concerned, worried she might have been hurt or kidnapped. There were so many uncertainties. I didn't want our wedding day to be associated with sadness, so we decided to postpone. Financially, it was a strain because all the arrangements were already in place, and we still had to pay the vendors. Our guests, mostly family and close friends, were very understanding and supportive when we explained. We assured them a new date would be announced soon. Later that afternoon, my mother-in-law returned. She claimed she had gone out to get an early surprise for our big day, but had gotten lost and didn't have her phone. I didn't believe her, but I had no proof. To make matters worse, she didn't even bring the surprise gift she claimed to have been buying. I stayed observant, convinced the truth would eventually come out. We set a new wedding date for 3 months later, and she vanished again. This time, no one panicked. Dave and his dad decided we would proceed as planned. Both of them were furious. This was her second disappearance, and her previous excuse had been flimsy. It was clear she was deliberately trying to sabotage our wedding. Dave's dad was especially frustrated, not just because of the wasted money, but also because of her blatant disrespect toward my parents and our guests. 2 days after the wedding, she returned, looking shocked that no one seemed to care. We had all agreed not to call or search for her. When she came back, we acted as though everything was normal. It was evident that the silence bothered her. She craved attention, especially from Dave, but he completely ignored her. That evening, we left for our honeymoon in Greece. My mother-in-law insisted on coming to the airport with us, but Dave refused to acknowledge her. I even tried to convince him to say goodbye or at least hug her, but he gave me the look, our silent signal that he wasn't going to budge. I realized this was a battle between them, and I had to step back. Greece was breathtaking, and our hotel was stunning. I was thrilled to finally experience my dream honeymoon. Dave didn't care where we went as long as he was with me, which was incredibly sweet. However, his sister, who is also my friend, warned me to be cautious. She said their mom was furious and throwing tantrums, blaming everyone for stealing her son. She advised me to prepare for potential fallout. As expected, my mother-in-law called that evening to insult me. She accused me of stealing her son and turning him against her. She claimed it had always been my plan to isolate him from her. When I tried to calm her down, she lashed out even more, accusing me of being disrespectful. When Dave returned from preparing a surprise for me, I put the call on speaker so he could hear her words. The rage in his eyes was immediate. I regretted my decision, but couldn't stop him from grabbing the phone. He told his mom to never disrespect me again, and expressed how ashamed he was of her behavior. He accused her of acting like an enemy, trying to destroy his happiness. Hearing his harsh words, she began crying, but Dave was firm. It was the first time I had seen him speak to her that way, and it was clear he was deeply hurt. He loved his mom, but her obsession blinded her to the damage she was causing. That night, Dave was too upset to enjoy our plans. I reassured him and did my best to comfort him, but the tension lingered. His relationship with his mom has been strained ever since. Although I wanted to avoid conflict, I can't help but feel partly responsible. I worry that my actions have driven a wedge between them, even though Dave seems resolute in his decision. His sister believes he needs time to heal and insists their mom deserves this treatment to learn a lesson. But I can't shake the guilt of seeing Dave lose his bond with his mother, even if it's for understandable reasons. I'm still burdened by guilt, but NTA, your mother-in-law needs to relax. If she truly intended to halt a wedding, she wouldn't repeat the same exact tactic unless she lacked the intellect to come up with a better plan. It was obvious that her intent was transparent, so no one took her seriously the second time around. If I were in your shoes, I'd focus on appreciating the newfound tranquility rather than dwelling on guilt. It's not like you fabricated what she said or spread lies. White, do you realize you've likely damaged your husband's relationship with his mother? Yes, you did. I only hope Dave maintains this energy in the future and doesn't shift the blame onto you for their estrangement. You should actively work toward helping them reconcile. Entei, you didn't do anything wrong. Dave needed to hear what his mom was saying to you. It's commendable that you're not pleased about the friction between them. So, take steps to bridge the gap. I doubt you'll face the same challenges with his mom, as she should have learned her lesson by now. However, be sure to set firm boundaries when discussing things. I'm a father of a wonderful girl, Violet. Her mom is deeply religious and adamant about others adhering to her strict beliefs. A few years ago, Violet came out, admitting she's attracted to girls. I anticipated her mom's reaction, and unfortunately, I was right. She subjected Violet to numerous harmful actions, claiming she would go to hell, labeling her as abnormal, insisting she be baptized, and forcing her to attend church multiple times a week. She even blocked all girls from Violet's phone, outed her to family members and churchgoers, and went so far as to send her pictures during school hours, reminding her to stay pure. It was excessive and cruel. I wasn't fully aware of the extent of this until she let it slip. I immediately divorced her. Violet now lives with me full-time, and her mom only has limited visitation rights, no overnights or extended stays. I've met Violet's girlfriend, and she's a lovely individual who frequently visits. One weekend, her mom showed up unannounced, just 2 hours before her girlfriend's arrival. I allowed her to stay for an hour, but her girlfriend arrived earlier than expected. I politely told her mom it was time to leave, explaining that we could schedule another visit. However, she refused, claiming she deserved to meet Violet's girlfriend. Violet's discomfort was evident. I reiterated that this wasn't the right time, emphasizing that she couldn't demand such things after her past behavior. She accused me of holding her actions against her and not allowing her to prove she's changed. I firmly responded that she needed to focus on being a supportive parent, not just using this moment to gain approval. Family members argue that she deserves a chance to demonstrate growth. While I agree she should have the opportunity eventually, it needs to be on Violet's terms, not her mother's whim. Her behavior, showing up uninvited and creating a scene, proves she hasn't truly changed. NTA, your priority is your daughter's well-being. Any reconciliation should be based on mutual respect and boundaries. Forcing such moments won't heal the wounds her mother inflicted. My husband and I have 2 children, Danny 10M and Clarissa 6F. For 2 years, we've fostered children, and our families have generally been supportive. Last Christmas, we were fostering Whitney, a toddler who had been with us for 6 months. My husband's family ensured she received gifts alongside our biological children, and my side did the same, except for my mother. My mom brought extravagant presents for Danny and Clarissa, but gave nothing to Whitney. Whitney, being a toddler, didn't notice, but it deeply upset me. I spoke to my mom, explaining that while she wasn't obligated to buy gifts for our foster children, if she chose to gift one child, she needed to gift them all. She dismissed my concerns, saying it wasn't necessary since Whitney would be returning to her parents soon. Months later, we began fostering Samantha, an 8-year-old who would be staying through the holidays. When my mom asked for gift ideas for the kids, I included Samantha's preferences. She protested, arguing that Samantha's reunification was imminent. I firmly told her that if she only brought gifts for Danny and Clarissa, I would refuse them. Some relatives accused me of being spiteful, but my husband supported me. My kids are gracious and wouldn't notice if Grandma skipped gifts altogether, so this wasn't about denying them. It was about fairness and inclusion. Yes, my mom could afford to buy Samantha something small and meaningful, but she chose not to. While it's her right to decide who she gives presents to, deliberately excluding a child who's part of our family, even temporarily, felt heartless. NTA. It's not about the monetary value, but the gesture of making Samantha feel included. If my mom continues to exclude foster children, I'll take matters into my own hands to ensure no child feels left out during the holidays.